Number 2. So we'll try to, I won't explain as much on this one so we can get through, just kind of get the flow of this, right? So we have A, and we have B, and we have C, right? Okay, and so the first thing we want to do after we check to factor out the GCF, which we're not going to do on this lesson, is we're going to multiply A by C, right? So I'm going to multiply 10 by 8. And notice that I'm not incorporating this sign there. I'm just multiplying the values without the signs, right? So I'm just kind of thinking this as just a absolute value in this case. So we have 80 here. So now I'm looking for numbers I can multiply to get 80. Okay, so let's read through this. Numbers we can multiply through to get 80 that we can subtract to get 11, right? So numbers we can multiply to get AC that we can add or subtract to get B, right? And so I start out with 8 and 10. So I could start there, or I could start with 1 and 80. It's up to you, right, on this one. So I like to start with these numbers that I started with, just because it kind of gets me into the middle of my list instead of starting all the way at 1 in itself. And so if I subtract 10 minus 8, right, because remember we need to subtract, then I get 2. So I need a bigger number. So whenever you want to get a bigger number, you want to go further apart. So you want to get 8 and 10 further apart, right? So instead of checking 9 and going up that way, I want to go down to 7. Does 7 go into 80? 80 divided by 7 is a decimal, so that doesn't work. 6. 80 divided by 6 is a decimal, so that doesn't work. 5. I know 5 goes in because 80 ends in a 0. So 80 divided by 5 is 16. And 16 minus 5 is 11, right? So ding, 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 ding. Those are our winners. Okay. All right. So now we're going to put them in here. So I'm going to put an X here. X here. Notice we're leaving a little space in the front, right, for those numbers to come in the front. And so then I'm going to put the 5 in one spot and the 16 in the other. It doesn't matter which one goes where. But what does matter is the signs, right? Remember, this sign tells you the sign of the bigger number. So the 16 is going to be negative, okay? And then this tells us the signs are different, okay? So when the signs are different, that means that this sign is going to be a positive in this case, right? Because the bigger number was negative. All right, so those get our signs right. And if you ever forget the rules of the signs, just add these together, right? Negative 16 plus 5 is negative 11. If you had any other combination of signs there, you wouldn't get negative 11, right? Okay, so now we're going to put A, whatever A is, we're going to put it underneath as the denominator of both these, both our terms P and Q, like we call them, right? P and Q. All right, and then we reduce. So let's see. If we reduce here, we're going to get 1 here and 2. So 5 over 10 is 1/2. 16 over 10 reduces to 8/5, right? Okay, and remember that whatever you end up with on the bottom in the denominator, that's going to come to the front, right? So that's going to go there. That's going to go there. Okay, so, but it's always after you reduce, so don't forget to reduce. So we get 2x plus 1. Notice how there's a 1 here now. Okay, and then we get 5x minus 8. All right, and that's our final answer. Now, remember, how do you check your work? You can always go back through and just FOIL it, and you should end up with this up here, okay? And you will, in this case. 2x times 5x is 10x squared. 2x times negative 8 is negative 16x, right? Let's just write this out. So 2x times 5x is 10x squared. 2x times negative 8 is negative 16x. 1 times 5x is 5x. And 1 times negative 8 is negative 8, right? So if we combine our like terms, we get negative 11x, just like we wanted to. And then, of course, we have the minus 8 at the end. And we have the 10x squared in the front. So we end up with this.